then let me know. So you can now let them in. Yeah, Elton, let me know whether we are live. Oh, so I think we are live. Elton? I hope we are.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, thank you. So are they in? Is Yao here? Adeola? Okay, thank you. So this the 9th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly elects Mr. Yao for, I confused the name again, but Mfoafo for the position of the Regional Relations Officer 2020-2021. So congratulations, Yao. And Yao, you can now have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Purity. And the name is MFOAFO.
Yes,
I think we always keep confusing as well as Mfoafo, not Mfoafo.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
So thank you everyone
Sorry.
very much. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. I'm very committed to working for the region. I'll need all of your support, even as we make the vision we have for AfRO a reality. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So Adeola, would you like to say something?
Thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, I wish you the best with this mandate. Thank you very much.
So thank you. And yes, congratulations to you both, Adeola, for actually going for it, Yao, for being the incoming RRO. I used to be an RRO. So congratulations. Next motion. So you can congratulate him on the chat box or do this. We'll move on to the next motion.
Just a moment, Purity. Can we all please use the virtual background? We were screenshotting a couple of the moments and we were screen recording some of them too. So please, if you could use the virtual background, I already sent a photo of the background that we're using on the WhatsApp group. So just download it and then upload it as your virtual background.
Elton, please forgive me if I take some time to do that, but I'll do it. So we received one bid for this, and that was by TAPSA Tanzania. The bid is in the folder. So official delegates and registered observers have access to that. So please have a look. So I'll give them 3 minutes to motivate their bid. So who'll be doing this? Regional working group, please inform me. So who's speaking? Sorry. So who is speaking?
Castori is going to do it.
Castori. So Castori, please share your screen, and you have 3 minutes. Castori, is Castori here? Baraka, is Castori here?
Hello, Purity. I am in.
Okay.
I need a minute to set up.
Okay. And it has to be a minute, please.
Oh, okay. I thought the.
Custody, you want to
Please,
share?
yes,
You want to
yes, I
share
want
your
to share my
screen?
screen. Yes.
Okay. So just a minute. Okay, so I'll make you co-host right now, and then
Okay.
you will share your screen.
Okay.
Please share your screen now.
Okay. Okay. So do you all see?
Yeah, it's loading. Yes, we can
You
see.
okay? So my
3
name is.
minutes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Castori Munishi, and I am the TAPSA president. So I am here to speak to you about our bid about the 10th IPSF African Pharmaceutical Symposium that we expect to take place in July 2022 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Um, so the dates, the proposed date from 16th July to 24th July. The leadership in training will take place in 16th and 17th of July. Main symposium from 18th to 22nd. Post symposium tour is 23rd to 24th, and the expected number of delegates is 100. And about TAPSA, TAPSA is an autonomous, non-political, non-religious, non-profit organization that brings together pharmaceutical science students of different levels from diploma to degree in Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar. It is open to all pharmacy students without distinction of race, nationality, and it's currently comprised of 16 chapters, and we expect by 2022 we'll have more than 25 chapters representing more than 3,000 pharmacy students. And TAPSA is a full member of IPSF. And about Tanzania, as you all know, it's an East African country, and that is surrounded, it has a lot of national parks. It's near the Indian Ocean, and we have the beautiful island of Zanzibar. We have Mafia Islands, and the main languages used in Tanzania are Swahili, English, plus the local vernacular languages. Dodoma is our capital city, and Dar es Salaam is the business capital. So this is the proposed timeline as I explained in the beginning. So we expect the event to take around 9 days. And this is the timetable. We'll have arrival day, a welcoming party on that day, and then we'll have an opening ceremony. We'll have the academic symposium. We'll have a workshop, recreation. We'll have another night session on the second day. We'll have a scientific symposium on the third day, and then we'll be having recreation in the evenings. We'll also have another night session. And in the third day, we'll have a very interesting challenge, quiz challenge that we call it, Do You Think You're Smart Enough? Whereby students from different parts of Africa will compete on knowledge on different aspects. And then we'll have an excursion on day 4. And then that night will be free for people to explore the city. And then on day 5, we'll have clinical skill, we'll have a competition and farmers practice, and then we'll have a compounding event, recreation. We'll also have an international night. And on the 6th day, TAPSA, we are always good in doing a Mara campaign. So we'll have to share experience with AfRO on how we conduct our campaigns so that people can see and experience, have an African experience. And that day we'll have a gala night, then we'll have a checkout and a post-symposium tour. So the venue places, the leadership in training will take place in one of the biggest venue in the country. It's called Julius Nyerere International Convention Center. The main symposium will take place in the same place. And then the night events will be taking in an offshore hotel called Sleepway. And tours will take place in Zanzibar, the post-symposium tour. But we also the excursion sites were proposed to be in Bagamoyo, which is the nearby city to Dar es Salaam. So this is the venue. It's a very big venue. It hosts so many international events. It's located in Dar es Salaam, and it has a lot of minor venues for conducting workshop and all kind of events. And then this is the offshore nearby the Indian Ocean, in Oyster Bay, Masaki, where Msasani Peninsula, where we will have our night events. It's a very beautiful place. This is one of the hotels that we expect people to be accommodated. It's one of high quality hotels with good reviews. It's called Silver Paradise Hotel, that is located in Dar es Salaam, and it has different kind of beds. And in Dar es Salaam, we have good transportation system from the airport, and all across the city will be using for private transport. You can use Ubers; they're widely available. And then for the event transport, we'll be using hired cars. And then this is a simple map. There will be buses to pick people from the airport. Taxi and Uber are widely available in our city. And this is Zanzibar for the post-symposium tour. It's known as the Spicy Island, the beautiful island of Zanzibar for those who have been there. And it's full of culture, full of history, full of beauty. There is a lot to explore. And especially at these times when we are speaking about Black Lives Matter, we can actually see a lot of Black history in Zanzibar. And also you can get sea breeze, you can get to explore many places like Stone Town and Prison Island and so many other places. And then this is Bagamoyo. It's also a historical site that is nearby Dar es Salaam that will go for excursion site. So it's going to be an event that is full of history. And in Dar es Salaam, we'll also get a chance to see the National Museum, which is nearby the venue that we're going to have our event. So these are participation fees. The LIT we expect to be 100 USDs.
Custody, please wrap up.
Yes.
I've
Yes,
actually
yes.
given you more minutes.
Thank you. Main symposium 250, phase 1, phase 2 270, and as you can see, and the post symposium tour is 150 USD because it's involve transport by boat to Zanzibar. And then these are our partners: Pharmaceutical Council of Tanzania, Medical Stores Department, Tanzania Medicines and Medical Devices Authority, the Pharmaceutical Society of Tanzania, and MB, and more partners. As the day we go by, we'll keep on increasing the number of partners. Thank you. Welcome to Tanzania.
Okay, thank you for that. So I'll now open the floor for discussion. Ivan? Custody, you have 2 minutes to answer every question, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Custody, Ivan from NAPSSL Observer. Now, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. But in your presentation, I did not see you putting a slide also about visa information to Tanzania, because I need to understand that some countries, it's in terms of visa, it's difficult for them to get visa. And how are you going to convince us that our students applying for visas to go to Tanzania, how accessible are we to have the visas? That's my first question. I don't know if I can ask the second question again.
Okay, thank you.
Custody,
so do I take all the questions or I answer as they come?
if you have, no,
Yes?
one after the other, 2 minutes for this one, 2 minutes for the next.
Okay, thank you. About visa information, for Tanzania, it's very easy to get visa, but specific information on how to get visa, we hadn't prepared for this presentation. But for the far as I know, for like East African countries, it's easy to come without a visa, and there are some countries which have exclusion for visa. But as the days go, we'll share that information appropriately. But what we know is it's very easy to get visas for most of the African countries to come in Tanzania. And we have an experience of hosting this kind of an event before, back in 2013. So for visa, I would like to assure you that it's very easy to get that. But specific information, I'll share it in due time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ivan, you had 2 questions.
Yes, the second question, I want to know, how did it come about in terms of these prizes is given for LIT, the post-symposiums and the main civil? How did it come about to get this prize? Because looking at it, the symposium is like 2 years from now. So how did it come about with this kind of budget? In case, let me say now, this budget you are giving, maybe in the next year, maybe we will go more than that. So how will you have the other funding to support the event?
Okay. So this budget, we have come up with it by considering the experience we have in hosting our local events, the usual costs that we usually incur, and then we try to extrapolate that for an international event. So if changes will happen, if any, of which we don't expect for them to happen, because in our country, the way the costs change, it really takes time for costs to go to change by a significant amount. But if it does happen, we have these partners that we think they can support us. But looking at this, a place like this venue, this is the venue that we have a good connection with them, and we expect to get it at minimum cost, because for this year when we're organizing our conference, this is the venue we're expecting to use. So they already know us, and we know how to get government costs. So we don't think if the cost can go beyond this, but if they go, maybe it won't be more than $10 to $25 if it does happen, of which I don't expect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sure it meant 100 to 250. Next, oh my God, we had number 37.
I'm Priscilla Osman, a GPSA Ghana. So my question to Custody is, GPSA Ghana, yeah. So my question is, with source of funds, where you are getting your funds from, how stable are they, and do you have structures in place in case any of those avenues you try to go to fail you in any way, so that it doesn't interrupt your plans, and subsequently when we come and it's going to be a whole lot of hullabaloo? So I want to know. Thank you.
Okay. So on the issue of source of funds, the way we want to run the event, we want to run it in such a way that we have minimal dependence to the donors, and most of the funds that we are going to use for the event comes from the contributors. But speaking of these sources, I can say we have an 80% of trusting in them to support us, because like the Farmers Council, it's where our matron is coming us and is coming from. So she'll be ready she won't let us suffer while she's there, and they have always been supporting us. And the other trusted sources, the TMDA, we also have a good partnership with them, because we have been participating in some events like promoting rational medicine use, things which are within their goals, to ensure that the people are using medicines rationally. And then these sources which are a bit not to depend on much is these private companies like this bank. And coming to the Pharmaceutical Society of Tanzania, this is our parent association for when we graduate. So they also this is also an assured part, because most of the alumni probably could be the ones who hosted the event back in 2013. So they want they would like to see it happening again. So we have an assurance of getting support. But the key point here is how we want to structure this at the end of the day is that most of the cost or most of the budgets is being covered by the contribution from the attendees, because as we all know that sometimes funding could be a challenge. So if we get more funds from donors, that will make us to make the event even more perfect. But the basic event, or the event that we want with high standard, but depending on contribution from the participants themselves, but without compromising the quality and standard of the event. But if we get donors, we put more additives. Thank you.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah, thank you. So next, I hope the answers are okay. Blessed, I think.
Purity, I had a similar question with the previous person who asked, so it was answered. Maybe I can make a comment. I'm impressed. I like what I'm seeing, so I can't wait for Tanzania. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have one more question? One more question, that's the most I can take. Otherwise, we will close this floor and proceed to closed discussion. Or are you guys comfortable? Okay. Okay, Ivan.
Castory, I see like you're saying that you have good partnership with the Pharmaceutical Council of Tanzania, but in your application, I did not see a recommendation letter or endorsement letter from this council that they're in support of you.
Okay. Okay. So maybe that we didn't know that we have to submit that as well. But if it's needed, we can actually we can contact them to get an endorsement letter but we did not seek an endorsement letter at the time we were applying. But so far we have been working with them and they have been supportive to us. And actually, what I can assure you is that our matron is the registrar of the Farmers Council, and that's why we have an assurance of support from the Farmers Council. And,
okay, thank you.
She used to work for AfRO. She's called Elizabeth Shekalage. She was once the president of AfRO. I mean,
okay.
Chairperson. Yeah.
Thank you, Castory. I'm not sure about that, but thank you for the presentation. So also something else you need to add, I think, would be an agreement between, but you are the president of TAPSA. In as much as you're the president of TAPSA, we have issues with host associations disagreeing with the reception committee that has been chosen. So we need a letter on that based on the outcome of this election. So you have to state that that will be provided. Please state it so that it's recorded. An agreement letter.
Okay, that will be, okay, an agreement will be provided as a follow-up.
Okay, yeah, so depending on the outcome, that will be provided. So thank you. So I'd like to assess how you guys are feeling. If you would like to go into closed discussion, you do this, or if you would like to move on to voting, you do this. So if you want to proceed to voting, thumbs down, or you type in the chat box, thumbs down. If you want to proceed to voting, if you want closed discussion, you do this so that we know how to go with this. So if you want to proceed to voting, you do this. You have to be very attentive. If you want to proceed to voting, you do this. If you want to go into closed discussion, you do this. So this is for everyone, even observers. Let me see how you guys are feeling. This or this. Okay, so it seems like we'll now proceed to voting. So TAPSA Tanzania, you have to tell me which option you want to vote for, because okay, you'll have, are you meant to vote? So you'll tell me the vote that you want, then we'll add that up to what we get. But for now, I'll remove you. We'll assume you've delegated your vote. Or actually, you can vote for that. Yeah, please vote for it to make it easier. So Baraka, you'll still vote. So it's open. Please vote. So you have two options. You can either vote for TAPSA, or you can choose to reopen this specific election. So 8 people haven't voted. Kindly vote. 3 people. Two. Okay, so all users have voted. I don't know why the system still hasn't updated. Excuse me. Yes. So I'm not sure about that line that you're seeing there. Castory, I hope you're not the one who's sharing it. So thank you. So this sorry. So this the 9th IPSF AfRO. Oh gosh. Sorry, guys. So this is the 9th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. I have changed it. It still hasn't reflected. Elects TAPSA Tanzania as the AFPS 2022 host. So congratulations, TAPSA. Castori, you can have the floor and say something.
Oh, well, thank you so much for trusting us. We believe that we are going to make meaning of your votes by doing the event that is going to be a historical event. We are going to take you to historical places, so we have to do a historical event to make sure that history is being perpetuated. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we have TAPSA as the host of the AFPS 2022. Congratulations, guys. Thank you for the presentation, and we hope that we'll actually meet come 2022. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next motion, and this has just been added to your folder. Please have a look at it. So the folder is titled IPSF, AfRO, proposed AfRO team restructure. So please type thumbs up if you can see that in the folder before I give background motivation. So guys, if you would like 5 minutes to go through it, please thumbs up. If you're okay with us starting the discussion, okay, so 5 minutes. So 5 minutes, yes, 5 minutes. And before you go through it, I'd like to give a background. So the previous regional assembly gave that proposal, the one that you see where, yeah, it's self-explanatory. So where you see proposal to the 9th regional assembly are there some of the recommendations we want to make with the restructure, and the different officers are going to give some motivation, 2 minutes motivation on why some things should be changed, and you're free to agree with some of those things or propose changes that you think would be more relevant. So 5 minutes, starting now. Augustine, that link was provided it was sent to you. Please check your email, search for 9th array folder or something. Thank you. So the 5 minutes are over. Are we okay to now discuss that? Thumbs up if you're okay. Thumbs down if you want more time. So how about the rest? Thumbs down if you want more time, thumbs up. Okay, so 3 more. So 3 minutes are over. May I see thumbs up if you're okay to discuss this? Thumbs down if you want more time. Kefsa, you're always ready. Thumbs up if you want to discuss this now. Thumbs down if you want more time. Okay, so I'll now give the regional working group members 2 minutes each to express the need of those changes. So we'll start with Ike. And if there are any changes that need to be done, yet they haven't been put there, please explain why they are not there. So Ike will start, followed by Elton. The same order we follow: Elton, then Lillian, then Ella. So Ike, 2 minutes. Ike, are you here?
Can you hear me, Purity?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for the floor. Well, throughout the mandate, there have been a good progress made, and also we've tried to check on the proposed restructure that was initiated by my predecessor Isaac and by the previous RA. So first of all, I will explain why it has not been effected there, because we've been trying to know whether we can go for 8 extra member or we'll get 7. So that was why we are trying to, but let this be the information that we wanted to effect on the restructure. So we are proposing that the QTD committee that was expanded last year, which was previously a translation committee, now we have translations, documentation, and the quality. So making it as more robust in terms of the offices. So we look at it that, okay, the previous translations has only 5 members. So now we are looking at having like each of the team having to we have the quality aspect of it having 2 members, then the documentation having 2, and then maybe the translation having 4. So making it 8 members, then the regional secretary making it the 9th, or we have the translation 3, the quality 2, the documentation 2, and then the regional secretary making it 8 or 7 or thereabout. So that is one of the major proposal we are bringing on board. Then the second one is we are looking at having maybe like a team lead amongst the subcommittee. Like we have a general coordinator of both the documentation, the translation, and the quality, and then working now directly with the regional secretary. It is going to help the regional secretary to concentrate more on the archives and the external relations. Of course, there's some effect from the IPSF Global, whereby there's a bit restriction on the archives, which have a bit hindered the functions of the subcommittee assessing the archive, because much of the work we are going to be doing as secretary is on the archive. So on the summary, we have tried to propose this so that if RA can approve, so we have more members coming in, it is going to help in regional office secretariats to function more better, and also to have more personnel working within different portfolios that have been just expanded. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I may, please try and type the new proposal in the chat box so that people can at least read. So next, Elton. Is Elton here?
Okay. Yes, I am. Purity. Let me just pull this up quickly. There are just a very few changes that I would like to get done for the Media and Publications Office. In the last array, just a moment. Okay, for this review, for my mandates, we've seen that a couple of things had to be improvised on, and I had to set the entire subcommittee into 5 teams. One was social media handlers. That's we had subcommittee members handling Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we had a website manager, and I incorporated a website content curator. For the website content creator, basically, what I did was a couple of things that were supposed to be posted on the website would be transcribed by the website content creator and then sent to the manager and uploaded to the website to be posted. And so this array, I'm proposing that we have fixed social media handlers, a website manager, a website content creator, at least 2 subcommittee members to be serving in that capacity, because we'll be having content from the projects office and the relations office. So, and we would want them to be uploaded to websites. And I'm also proposing that we have a fixed designers group, design team and videographers team, at least 3 designers and 1 videographer, because there's so much to be done. We have designs from public health campaigns to professional and pharmacy education projects. The AFPS 2021, I think we should have like a fixed designer. I had one that I gave to the AFPS reception committee, and then we should have one that is fixed for every other media and publications projects, including newsletters and the magazine. And some of them probably could have doubling roles to play. And I'm also proposing we have a fixed interviewer for the AfRO Shines Light. As enforced this mandate, we had a subcommittee member that was literally serving as the interviewer for that project. She will reach out and interview our personalities, then transcribe those interviews and request for portraits and videos, motivational videos that will be edited and published on our social media pages, including YouTube. And lastly, I'm also proposing that we have like a fixed editorial team. That's one thing I've maintained since the start of my mandate, having a fixed editorial team for the newsletters and the magazine. That way, everyone gets focused on a specific task. You excuse me?
Yeah, so it's time. And I realized his update was not posted on the document. I've just added it, so you can still go through it. He's gone through all of it, so it's now there. I hope you can see. Thumbs up if you can see the new edit. And now, as you show me thumbs up or thumbs down, if you can't see it, thumbs down. Just refresh your thing, whatever you're thinking. Next we have Lillian.
Okay, thank you, Purity. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So the first review on the restructuring is the any applicant for the RPO must present portfolio for your previous work. So the portfolio can include previous projects that they have overseen, or overseen or taken part in at either association level or as part of the regional projects office. It can be either. Then initially the public health professional development and pharmacy education coordinators were informal posts that we created within the mandate to help manage the projects, but we want them to become official such that people actually apply for them the way they apply for to become subcommittee members. So for projects office, you can either apply to be a coordinator or subcommittee member directly. And if one of them is successful, they have the option of joining this project subcommittee like the way it's done in IPSF Global. If you're not a coordinator, you have the option of joining the subcommittee. And then the composition of the subcommittees to be left at the discretion of the RPO, depending on their projects. For example, last year, Tanaka had proposed 2 members for the PAC subcommittee, but this year, because we are starting the Pharmacy Education Week and we are really trying to establish the portfolio, we had to bring in 1 more subcommittee member. And at times you find like during LIT, PD had a lot of work. So during that quarter, we had to increase the number of subcommittee members, so like keep shuffling them. So that's why I left it open, because different RPOs have different priorities. And for example, next mandate P might not need so many people, but public health might. So, and then also, as I had said, depending on the quarter and the projects running during that quarter, you might need to shuffle up the number of subcommittee members. Then the other one is just for, the last one is for grammar purposes. Since PAC is part of PD, that's why I propose it be renamed to Pharmacy Education Projects Team. And the other one, PD and PH have just included the projects team bit of it, so that there's no confusion by calling them Pharmacy Education Subcommittee. And then, so it doesn't look like projects and pharmacy education are different portfolios, but they're under one subcommittee and under one RPO. So that's why I named them projects team. Yes, so that's it from the projects office. Thank you. I hope it's clear.
Thank you. Next, we have Ella.
Okay, all right. So quickly, for the regional relations subcommittee, last Monday during the 8th RA, we had decided that we would have 7 people as members of the subcommittee, and we made each of them a coordinator. So the 7 of them, we are secretary, the full member coordinator, member in association coordinator, events coordinator, president coordinator, and president coordinator. Am I missing any other one? And then sponsorship and partnership coordinator, as well as events coordinator. Yeah, I think I don't know if I'm missing anyone. So yeah, so that was what we had for this mandate. But then after like looking through or going through the mandate, we had decided that we may not and SEP coordinator. I think I skipped that. Sorry, SEP coordinator. So we, after all of that, we had decided to kind of define the roles of the subcommittee members. So this time around, we had decided to make them 6 instead of 7, because so that way so in that case we'll be removing the SEP coordinator. That's because usually we have the SEC body that comes from under the SEP, we have the SEC body, and then this SEC body, they are always in charge of all the SEOs that divided. The SEOs are divided under the SEC bodies. So what we are planning to do, or what the incoming RRO can do, is that we can just create a group that has all the SEC bodies from all the SEC bodies that we have, And then since they're already following up on these SEOs, then when there is something going on or something like that, they can just send a message to the RRO, and then the RRO will just follow up on them individually. So that is it. And then for the secretary, the roles of the secretary is being modified a little bit. So instead of the person being a secretary, the person will be a documentation officer or documentation coordinator. In that case, the person would be in charge of any form of translations that has to be done, maybe translating of emails in that case, and updating updating all the files or updating the archives that we have of the CPs, the SEOs, as well as the presidents, and any other documentation that needs to be done. Yeah, and also taking care of the minutes that of the meetings that we'll be having in the RRO subcommittee at the subcommittee level. Then and then, okay, so with the events coordinator, because we wanted to modify it a little bit, so instead of events coordinator, we'll make it a marketing coordinator. In that case, the marketing coordinator, that person is not just in charge of the AFPS, the person will also be in charge of promoting every event that is happening in IPSF, the IPSF competitions, the IPSF quizzes, every event that is happening in IPSF and even in IPSF AfRO campaigns, everything that is going on, the person will be specifically in charge of promoting all of them all around, like letting it go across board. So in a nutshell, I think those are just where the amendments have been made. Thank you. Purity, unmute your mic.
Thank you. Sorry. So thank you for that. So now I'll open the floor for discussion. And I'm sorry I haven't removed the votes there. So anyone would like to say something about this? Any questions? You're allowed to ask questions about this. So use your numbers. Anything you don't understand, anything you'd like to recommend, any questions you might have. Okay, Isaac, please start as I update the system.
Thank you, GPSA Ghana 2020. I'd like to start with I think you should document what exactly you want us to say. I think Elton's phone has been updated, so we'll find a hard one. I think your changes are very valid, especially with regard to the secretariat, the secretary. But I'm concerned about removing the SEC coordinator, because normally the SEC bodies usually have a challenge of cultural differences. When you have a SEC coordinator who is African, understands what the SEOs need, has already been
Isaac, there's a technical. There's a lot of noise and
okay, so you go ahead. I'll speak later.
Okay. So we have no other comments. So who else would like to ask a question or a recommendation, or how you just feel about it? Even when you're not comfortable about it, you're allowed to speak. Okay, so 40 and Karen, please start speaking.
Thank you, Purity. Mine is a question. So normally, where are the subcommittee members drawn from, and normally who gets to choose the subcommittee members? And I would have a suggestion that we try in incorporate into the subcommittees members from other countries, not just one country. Like we get to have all countries represented in the subcommittees. If they miss out on opportunity. Thank you.
So we didn't hear the last part, but if I'm correct, you were saying that we need to draw from different countries. Is that what you were saying? Just IPS or not? So yes, and if I can answer this, the selection is done by the incoming and the outgoing. So the incoming RRO and the outgoing RRO will do the selection process together. So last year we shortlisted, and then we went ahead and had interviews for those people. So we try as much as possible to have regional balance, but at the end of the day, the people that will be selected are the ones that have the most quality application, and it is very competitive. You can even receive over 150 applications and you just have these few spaces. So it's very competitive in as much as we want to, select from every country. And that is why you as a CP, everyone here, SEO, anyone, any previous subcommittee member, you have to promote this call because Ike already shared it. You have to promote it far and wide to make sure that your members are involved. So it's a matter of you helping us help your members to become part of the subcommittees, and tell them not to submit one sentence answers, because definitely someone else will submit a paragraph that is well detailed, well structured, and they'll get it. So I hope I answered you. Karen. Thank you. So Ivan.
Yes, thank you very much, Purity, and then the RWG for putting up these documents. I just have a question and concern. Will this documents give the opportunity for someone to work into various committees? Because looking at it, someone will have a skill in public health and maybe has passion for public health committee, but also have skills in other areas like video editing. So maybe the person would like to give an LP and also in that particular committee. Is it possible that people can apply for two committees and then you can work comfortably in those committees?
Okay, thank you for that question. So we did we have that situation? No, we've not had that situation, and we prefer not to. The only time that might happen is unless it is super necessary, like we've looked for a videographer and we totally can't find them, and the person that is found is willing to commit to two subcommittees. So this will only be left for the very unusual circumstances. Otherwise, we are also limiting the opportunities for our members, so preferably not, and that would not be the first option. Remember, if we don't get enough people, we always reopen a call for the subcommittees. So unless it happens that we get someone in the first round and then we are still looking for someone and the same person who was accepted in another subcommittee applies, then that might be considered. But it all depends on the regional working group that will now be there and the need, and also the person, their commitment, and all those things. Remember, an interview will also be done. Yes. So we hope that that is handled that way, and that will my recommendation to this regional working group and the incoming one. Ivan, are you comfortable with that response?
Yes, yeah, I'm comfortable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Isaac, are you stable now? Is Isaac here? Isaac? Someone please confirm whether Isaac is here. So any question, any comment, any suggestion?
Yes, and we can feel concerning the same question. I think you've sent in a call for I think the subcommittee member is already out, but there's a particular allocation that you made that if the person will be willing to work in another subcommittee member. So that's why I need clarity on this particular issue, because you've already added that in this new call that the person can, if he's willing to work in another committee. So I'm seeing that like you want to propose this particular thing. That's why I need clarity on it.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. And you're very correct. And also, yes, there is that option. And that would just be to assess. We also have the same question in the regional working group applications. You also see that. And that's just an assessment on the flexibility, because if that went through and now we get you reapplying again, and you maybe insist that, you know, you can actually work in something else, and also you highlighted that, then actually see that there are grounds for that. But also, I'd like to urge the next regional working group not to include that question to avoid the confusing. Or, yeah, I would suggest that. Or if you guys think it should be there, then it will definitely be included. Noah?
Yes, thank you, PVT. I think okay, Noah, Napsis Sierra Leone. I just want it's just a comment, not a question, basically, with regards to what Ivan just said, with regards to someone who might be able to work in a committee. You know, I think in that regard, it means basically if the position in which you are applying, like you couldn't get it, what would be like another option? Most times that was the interpretation of the one that did the form. But I think I'm not really sure whether the person that did the form was referring to like whether the person can occupy two positions at the same time, because most times it normally happens on IPSF applications, wherein you ask you whether, if, like, for example, if you couldn't get the position in which you're applying, which other position you would like just like a first choice and a second choice, something like that. Basically, probably that was what they meant, and it wasn't well understood. Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to know, is there a recommendation that you have? Because it is very important that you get the recommendation from the regional assembly, and this has to be in the minutes. So please, the meeting secretaries, please make sure this is noted. Yes, Noah?
Yes, thank you, PVT. I would recommend that, of course, as you just said, we are looking for participation from all countries and to see how much we can get everybody involved. So it will be, I would recommend that each person should occupy one position, and except there is an extraordinary circumstances that we would need something like that. But even if a situation like that arises, I would still suggest the person should still occupy the best position he can occupy. And if the RWG need his help in doing certain things, he can still provide his time, not necessarily occupying the two positions. So basically, but I would 100% recommend each person to occupy a position, so that because this is a learning opportunity, it's a phase. We all have to create rooms so that others can learn. But if people are occupying the same positions or similar something like that, it should be difficult. So I go with your recommendation for us to have one position, and accept the situation is really extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a clarification from Ike. So it will supersede the comments.
Okay, thank you very much, Purity, for the floor. I just wanted to clarify something about the subcommittee form that was just released. It is a tradition in IPSF that if someone apply, for the fact that you apply for a position, it is a great joy. So that was why we try to maybe create a situation by, if you can't get the position you're applying for, you should be able to have opportunities in another subcommittee. it doesn't really mean that you apply in this subcommittee, you are in some, you get it here, you get it. No, the clause in that application form is basically, let's say you are applying for translations or QT subcommittee, the peradventure you didn't get it. You or are you going to be able to work in translation in RRO subcommittee? So that is what it basically means, so that we can be able to say, okay, this is the pool of the applicants. Okay, this person got it from the subcommittee. Okay, let's see, let's review the application. Is it suitable to RRO? So from say, let's this person in the RRO. I think if you observe IPF Global, that is the pattern. So you apply in internal subcommittee, you get it. There's still an option for you to go to external. So it's basically what it does mean that, okay, you get it in QTD subcommittee, you also get it in RRO committee. I don't know whether that's clear by you. So basically that is what it means. You don't get it in the committee. Are you waiting to work if you are in another subcommittee? Not that you get it in this subcommittee, you also get it in the other subcommittee. Thank you very much. That is what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. So I think that has been noted that was the aim, but going forward, we will take the suggestion and we will take the suggestion. Yeah, SAPSIF South Africa, were you seconding the recommendation that was given? Or what are we seconding?
So Zukali, South Africa, yes, I was supporting the recommendation Noah was giving. Thank you.
Thank you. So that will be adopted, hopefully, by the next regional working group. And Isaac, are you back? And we have to be really fast with this. We have 20 minutes to finish the array, and we have 2 more motions to discuss. Isaac? Yes, you can text. Yes, please text. And I also got a question privately by an SEO, and they were asking whether it's possible to be CP or SEO and also part of a subcommittee. Yes, that is possible. And you really have to prove that you will be able to balance that. So you have to show that in your application. And if we haven't seen you like very active as a CP or an SEO, then that might actually affect the success of that application because we already know how you work. I hope that is clear for the CPs and SEOs that are here, or other people who are holding IPSF positions like committees. So Isaac, please text. Any other question? So for this document, so Ella, Isaac is wondering if having SEC buddies following up on SEOs instead of RRO subcommittee members is a good idea due to cultural differences. And because this might become like a very long discussion, I can answer that. Then if Ella wants to add anything, she can add. First and foremost, there's something that we've been doing uniquely that is mostly AfRO, is dealing with SEOs. So SEOs already have the student exchange program run by the chairperson of student exchange. So it is already an established structure on itself. And at the regional level, we actually we don't have such a big role with SEOs, just that in AfRO, we want to bring everyone together. So that is why we found a system where an RRO comes in and they have to be asked about SEOs, but that's just an additional job. So I actually discussed this with Ella. So the most we can do, because sometimes you don't even know what's happening until you see an email from Shams and she's like, so this association has not been active they have not been replying to emails, we wouldn't know, because only SEC buddies are allowed to interact with them. So we wouldn't know what they're doing on that other side. We wouldn't know whether they are present for training. We wouldn't know whether they are, whether they are doing their job the way they are doing, unless only what they choose to show us. So it's very difficult to keep up with the SEOs. And that's why we thought that Ella, because when the chairperson of student exchange is assigning SEC buddies, they are very sensitive to the region and also the language. So you can get someone from AmRO being the SEC buddy to someone from AfRO because they can speak French. So you have to take note of that. So we thought that bringing the SEC buddies together, not in a way where we keep asking them anything, but maybe putting them in a group and then telling them, I'm the AfRO RRO, and in AfRO, we try and follow up on our SEOs. So I'd like you to post here in case any SEO doesn't submit a monthly update, because they submit the monthly updates to them. So I'd like you to tell me in this group, and it's the responsibility of the RRO to actually ask in that group, are AfRO SEOs doing what they need to be doing? Are they attending trainings? Are they submitting monthly updates? Have they filled their reports, the winter something report? Have they accepted, I was not an SEO, but those are some of the things they do. So tracking that from there would be easy, rather than having a random subcommittee member who doesn't even know what SEOs are doing asking those questions. So that is why we thought that would be more effective. But if the regional assembly feels that we still need to do it the way it was being done, that is okay too. So Ella, do you have anything to add? Isaac, was that answer okay, or do you have a recommendation?
Okay.
Isaac?
All right.
Ella, you go first, and then I'll comment after you.
Okay.
Okay.
Ella?
What Purity had said earlier was basically the reason why. I mean, that was it. Okay, and I just want to reiterate the fact that, I mean, since you were in my subcommittee, it was it was a little easier because this time around we had Yao, who was, I made Yao the SEP, in charge of the SEOs. So it was a lot easier, because there are times that I could even come and then I'll have to even go and ask Yao, what is going on with SEP? What is, because he's an SEO for GPSA. Sometimes I go to ask him, like, what is happening with SEOs? I mean, what is going on? The SEP photo contest, is it out? I mean, is it already, how do you go? I mean, what's going on right now? And that's basically because he's already an exchange officer for GPSA, and I mean, so which means he's already part of them. So it was even easier, even following up with the SEOs. But now, why we come up with this, we are not so sure of the people that will be coming in, I mean, as a subcommittee members, and then getting in maybe, so there's a likelihood that we'll be having a random person. And then also, I want to also reiterate the fact that this time around, if it comes to the following up, we could also do it in such a way that we can get some of the subcommittee members also following up on the SEOs as well, together with the CPs. And that one would also be more of an optional thing, because, I mean, the RWG or the RRO can also decide based on how he wants it. And if there are, and with the whole group thing, if there are any issues, the SEC body can just let the RRO know, because that was also what was happening during this time, the time when we had one SEO from a country not being so responsive. We had some of the SEC body messaging me to let me know what is happening, this. So sometimes we really don't know what is happening in SEP, because SEP is, we understand that SEP is a different portfolio altogether. So that's just what I wanted to reiterate. I don't know if that's okay, but you can go ahead to, yeah.
Okay, Isaac.
Okay, thank you, Isaac, GPSA Ghana. Is it clear? Can I speak? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I understand where you guys are coming from, but here's where I'm also coming from. From someone who has been an SEO before, usually when you have someone who is from the same culture as you, I understand when you talk about the language similarity like French, but then if someone from Emerald is talking to me about SEP, I'd feel more comfortable speaking to someone in Afro. For instance, when I was an SEO, my sec buddy was Bakani. It was an easy talk. It was a more, I don't know, like I'm talking to my brother, okay? And I can tell as well because when I was an SEO, even though I was not on the RRO subcommittee when I was an SEO, I had other SEOs texting me, asking me questions and all that. It's a more, I don't know, familiar experience, which breeds a more cordial relationship than someone who is totally from another region and has other views about SEP. I don't know if you guys are getting me. And so what I'm suggesting is that maybe just like we had Yao this time around, and he was more strategic to that particular portfolio. Maybe we can do that. We can even add a clause stating that for SEO coordinator or for the SEP coordinator, that person being an SEO will be a plus, just like we did for QDT last year, stating that someone who has a French background is a plus for the applicant. That is what I'm thinking. I think it's more beneficial, but just totally closing that gap for the next RRO may limit them. I don't know if Yao is on the page and can comment on this, but that's what I feel. You can just leave it open and then they can decide. But when you just clamp them down and just decide that no, there's no need for the person, then I have a problem. But the rest of the RA can comment on it as well. I that's my main problem. And about Lillian's restructure, I was thinking maybe leaving it open. That's the PH, or was it PPAC you were talking about, or professional development? I think leaving that particular section open might also be a problem. So I think Tanaka's old suggestion was best, having one person as without portfolio so that the RPO is free to move them wherever they want. But then if you leave it open and someone decides to take like 10 people, you might end up having people not working. It might just be one person doing all the work, but then a lot of people will be just in there doing nothing. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if I can add a direct, so you had Bakani, but Bakani was not appointed by the regional office. Bakani was appointed by global, by SEP, because when they're selecting student exchange bodies, they have to select student exchange bodies also from Africa. So like this year we had Pelo and we had Esther, and they were following up on Afro SCEOs. So those were their SEC buddies and they were from Afro. So they were not, Bakani was from Student Exchange Committee. He was not from Afro Regional Relations Subcommittee. I hope you've understood that part. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to clarify before I give Yao the floor. Yeah, please go ahead and speak.
Okay, thank you, GPSA Ghana. I understand everyone clearly, but what I also want to bring on board is sometimes we have to understand that being SEO coordinator or just doing that goes beyond maintaining communications and then ensuring that they submit their reports on time and then all that. So because the dynamics is a lot, you don't know if you're going to have sec buddies who are directly from Afro, then it becomes advantageous. But then if you have Afro SEOs who have sec buddies from other regions, it's going to be a bit problematic. I'm saying this because sometimes you just need someone who understands Africa very well so that it's easier to solve problems on that level. It goes beyond just checking up on them to submit reports and then checking up on them to make sure what they've done is good. What are we going to do to help them improve their SEP? We have new SEOs coming in who don't really even know how to capitalize on bilateral exchanges to get placement for outgoing students. You don't have SEOs who clearly understand how to communicate and then leverage on things like public profiling and then all that, and looking at the SEP statistics to kind of judge where placements will be more favorable and advantage. Like these are the little nitty-gritties that you don't get from the trainings especially. And then these are things you don't know unless you're African. So the dynamics here are a lot because you don't know if the two sec bodies who will be in charge of AfRO or the 3 sec bodies are all going to be from AfRO, or you have some from M. If we are not getting all from AfRO that year, then it would be better we had an SEO coordinator in AfRO as well to help fill in those loopholes so that the sec bodies can take over making sure that they are doing their work and submitting. Then we can have someone in the background who is focused on improving SEP in the countries to see that we are having countries who are getting more incoming students and are getting more outgoing students. That's what I think it's really going to help the region to improve the SEP and not just be checking up on them. So I agree with what Isaac is saying. It will be more if the clause could be restructured in a way that being an SEO, a past SEO is a plus, because then you have someone who already knows the work and is going to follow up from that front, not just following up on you replying your emails and submitting your monthly updates, but want to make SEP in AfRO better, want to increase the demand for SEP here. Yeah.
Thank you. So because we are really short on time, I want to assess. So if you are up for keeping the SEP coordinator position, please type thumbs up. If you're not okay with keeping it, thumbs down. So please respond very fast so that we move on to the next thing. So, okay, so we will keep the SEP coordinator position. Thank you. So, Lillian, you had is that a new or is it a direct to what Isaac was saying?
It's a direct to what Isaac was saying.
Yeah,
okay,
thank
so
you.
I wanted to clarify. So we still keep the 10 participants, the 10 subcommittee members. But what I was saying by leaving it open, for example, in the third quarter, when we had LIT and we had other campaigns going on at the same time, we had the collaboration with FAMSA. What I meant is we cannot stick to the 4-3-2 formation and keeping one member open, because different quarters have different demands, and sometimes one subcommittee might be overloaded, and sometimes you find like some people have exams. So I was leaving it open so that the RMPO the RPO has the power to move around the subcommittee members, because that's what we did for this particular mandate. So, and then also leaving the one person open. Tanaka's idea was to have someone like a secretary, like I was during his mandate. So I didn't have any portfolio. I used to help with everything. But I think this there's no need for this, because we have the coordinator positions, and this actually makes the work more focused and just brings about better results. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if it's clear. So you can always, the RP is free to move around the people according to the subcommittee members, according to the needs of the project's office at that specific time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So are we okay with Lillian's new recommendation? Thumbs up if you're not okay, thumbs down. Or if you don't understand, you can also say that. If you don't get the point. If you don't get the point, say that, because we really need you to understand what is going on. So thumbs up if you're okay, thumbs down if you're not. And it will be summarized for you. You have to take a decision you understand. So thumbs up. Okay, so some people didn't get the point. So Lillian, can you briefly explain in 2 minutes what you're suggesting and the question that Isaac was asking?
Okay, so last year the recommendations were we have the 3 subcommittees, and we have them constituted as 4 people in public health committee, 3 in professional development, 2 under PAC, and then 1 with an unspecified portfolio. So the issue was having the 1 with an unspecified portfolio. The thing was, Tanaka's idea was to have the secretary position, like for example, during his mandate, I was the secretary. So I was not under any portfolio and I used to supervise everyone. So just check up on what public health is doing, professional development and PAC. So so in this, for this 9th AFP regional assembly, we are suggesting that we have 3 coordinators. So each of the 3 portfolios to have a coordinator, and the number of subcommittee members not be specified. So if I was giving an example okay, let me give another example. In February, we had 3 campaigns going on at the same time. So we had FGM campaign, which was a public health campaign. We had Pharmacy Education Week, and we also had the climate change, which was also under public health. So in this case, for this particular second quarter, professional development did not have any active campaign. So at that time, we moved around the members. So some of them went to help with public health because it was overwhelmed, and then others helped with the Pharmacy Education Week because PD was open. At that time, we did not have any active projects. So that's what I meant by leaving the slots open, so that the RPO can move the people around as need be. So, and then the opposite happened in the 3rd quarter because of LIT. LIT had a lot of things, so we had other people from PH coming to help with the PD project. Yeah, because it needed a lot with the French and everything else that was going on. So that's what I meant. So we keep the 10 subcommittee members. The coordinators are fixed, but the RPO is free to move the people around. And also another criteria for moving people around was some of the subcommittee members by the 2nd quarter had, sorry, the last point. Some of the subcommittee members had really grown within their particular portfolio. So I switched them around, and Kobile and Florentine. So I switched them around so that they can go and learn in other subcommittees, but the PU remained intact. So I hope that's clear. Do you guys get what I'm saying? My point.
So do we now understand? Are we okay with this approach? Yes, for this. If you want another explanation, thumbs down. So that is how RPO office is going to operate in the next year. And whatever we were discussing earlier is how RRO office is going to operate the other next year. And so are we comfortable to vote for this? Innocent, very fast, and I hope it's very necessary.
I beg for some clarification. Lillian said earlier on that people will apply to be coordinators in the different teams, the way she called them, like PH team or professional development team. So if people are going to apply, is it starting with this RW or like these subcommittees? Because the call for application is already out.
So the application.
So if I can, Lillian. So thank you. So if I can answer this, to be honest, there was a bit of some miscommunication, and therefore that call for subcommittees needed to have considered this, whatever we are discussing now. So what I would suggest that the next regional working group does, and what we will do as this regional working group when we are selecting this, and for example, a position like for those coordinators, yeah, for the coordinators, the allocation will depend on the quality of the applications, because you can always tell, like, this person is, would be fit for a coordinator position. And also from the interviews, we will add questions that allow people to answer in such a way we can assess their ability to be coordinators. So that is something that I promise to make sure this regional working group and the next regional working group does. So when she says they will have to apply, it will be based on the application. So yeah, so there was a problem there, but we promise, and I promise as I to follow up on that. So if we are okay with that, that is what is going to happen. But in future, we can include a question that says, would you be interested like to be the coordinator or something? Then we can assess also from that. So let me see if we are okay with that approach, or you would like to make a recommendation. If you want to make a recommendation, I hope to see like thumbs down. If you're okay with that, thumbs up to save time. So thumbs up if you're okay with that approach. And please, meeting secretaries, please make sure you're recording all these recommendations. Thank you. So I need more responses, guys. I can't assess your feelings with 4 responses. I need to see how you guys feel about that. Okay, thank you. So Ike, do you still need to express the clarification? I think the mood is okay to move on.
Yes, Purity. Hello, Purity. I want to yeah, thank you very much for the floor. I want to clarify something. Actually, what we worked on was what the previous 8 RA passed. So now we are proposing a restructure. So this present RA decision right now is going to take effect from the incoming RWG. So we are working on the present document that was in force already by the 8th RA. So the decision of this RA is going to take effect from the incoming RWG. And so what will happen is, just as Purity says, that during the interviews, the incoming RPO may decide to, select different qualities that will be the coordinator for the incoming RWG. Then the subsequent call from the incoming secretary is going to now capture the decision now. So we are not going to have another call for the subcommittee. What will happen is, during the selection processes, we can then, get in touch with the recommendation of this RA and then get those individuals as coordinators. But then the subsequent call may be in the incoming RA next year is going to bear this decision of the RA. So we are working on the 8th RA decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So Isaac, very fast, and we've run out of time.
Isaac, GPSA Ghana. Can I go ahead, Purity?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to clarify if Lillian is maintaining the 10 people inclusive the coordinators, or the coordinators are going to be different from the 10 people.
Lillian?
The 10 are inclusive. The coordinators are inclusive of the 10.
So thank you for that. So and I am also promising another thing. I have so many promises, please forgive me. So we will send an updated document, because it was also missing a section from the quality and documentation subcommittee. So that was not there, but it was posted on the chat box, but it's going to be added there in a very orderly manner. So you can choose to vote for it now, and then it will be sent back to you when it's very updated, maybe this week that we are starting. So if you're okay with that approach, thumbs up. If you're not okay with that approach, thumbs down. Isaac?
Isaac, GPSA Ghana. Purity, I don't think we should vote on a document we've not seen. It's like signing a document you've not read. That's maybe something may change in there and we may have passed it already. I think it's neat that we actually see the document, we read it, we are able to digest it, and then we vote on it. We can have another RA at another time. The RA can mandate us to review that document at another time. No rush. Let's just take our time and do things properly and orderly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So it can be a vote by correspondence then, I guess so. So we also like have to propose a motion for that. We also have to create a vote for that motion and the new instructions that have now been given. So do we have, Isaac, would you like to propose a motion with the wording that you'd prefer? And we have to create it.
Purity, can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, so I suggest, Isaac, GPSA Ghana, I suggest we, the motion be read. This is the 9th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly moves to, review the IPSF AfRO team restructure to a different date, decided by the RWG.
Isaac, please repeat it. I'm trying to type it.
This, the 9th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly moves to reschedule the review of the IPSF AfRO team restructure to a different date decided by the RWG.
And the vote to be voted on by correspondence, would you like that? Or would you like us to call for a new regional assembly session?
No, the votes can be decided on by contact persons of full member organization.
Okay, to be decided by contact persons.
Yes.
So we will have to, I think, vote against this motion first. You'll have to vote against this motion, the current motion. So I need, before we do that, I'm sorry. So I need a proposer for this new motion, that is GPSA. Is that okay? Is the motion that is displayed okay? Isaac, feel free to unmute your mic. You're the proposer of this motion proposed by GPSA Ghana.
Isaac, GPSA Ghana, yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Or may I have a seconder for this? So UPSA Uganda. So that will be the new motion. So I'm sorry for confusing you guys on this. So we will have to go back to this motion and vote against it because we didn't agree on it. So I'll open this vote. So though if you agree with it, you can vote, but yeah, then if you don't, then like that. So the vote is open. Sylvester? Please update us. So 3 left, guys. Please go as fast as you can. So who is remaining? Please tell us who is remaining so that we know. Is it still 3 left? So Pans, Therese, are they here? Togo, Pans, and RPSA. So how many do you have? Let's see if it's the simple majority. Do we? I'm not simple majority, but 2/3. So that's 9. Yeah, so we needed about 8 to vote, and that's okay. So please close the vote. Let me know the results. Please close it. Okay. So 7-4. Okay, so we'll actually go with this, and we won't go with the other motion that we had drafted. So So the 2/3 majority for the motion is 7, and we have the 7. So we won't go into the next motion that was proposed, but like we had said, we are going to still send the updated document. Yes. So that is still going to happen. And our time is up. We had two motions remaining. That is the report of the chairperson of the AFPS RC and also the financial report. So I want to assess the mood, whether you would like to suspend the standing orders and meet again tomorrow for the last array session to discuss those two motions, or you would like to extend the time for this discussion. So if you want to suspend the standing orders, type this, and then we meet here tomorrow for RA. And if you want to extend the time for this discussion for the two motions that are remaining, you type this. So this, if you want to end the array right now and come tomorrow, or this if you want to proceed to the next motion. So down if you want to proceed to the next motion. Thumbs up if you want to meet here tomorrow. So thumbs up if you want to meet for array tomorrow. Thumbs down if you want to continue. So I'm seeing quite a number of thumbs up. So I need a proposer to suspend the standing orders. UPSA Uganda has proposed. I need a seconder. GPSA Ghana, I'm opening the floor for discussion. So if you want to discuss this, I see no Elton, but Elton, why are you saying me? So tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT +0. So I don't know what the yes means. That would have to be like another motion. So I either give you the floor to discuss, but we are not going to discuss on the chat box. So if you want to speak, type an I. Otherwise, I will proceed to voting if I don't see an I. So if you want to talk about something, I want to see an I. If you have nothing to say, don't type it, and then we'll proceed to voting for this. Karen, please have the floor.
Thank you, Purity. Mine is a request whether we can vote on the times for the session tomorrow. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And if I can clarify, so the schedule had already been sent to you, and we had allocated 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. GMT as the time we would have for the session. And this was also informed to CPs during our CP meeting of the schedule, and no one objected. So I really don't think we can discuss the schedule again, unless, of course, many array members want that. But it would be the same time, 6 p.m. GMT 0. Elton?
Okay, Purity, what I wanted to say was, being that it's only like 2 motions left, and it has to do with the IC, I don't think it will take much time. I was hoping that we'll just continue, but I think they've already voted for us to suspend the standing orders and move to tomorrow. But it would have made much sense if we had completed everything today, especially the fact that it's only 2. I don't think that will take more than 30 or 40 minutes. No, it's fine.
Okay. Anyone else who wants to speak, type an I in the chat box, followed by your number. Isaac?
Isaac, GPSA Ghana. I beg to disagree with Elton. I think a lot of people are tired, and it sort of affects the way they're making decisions at this point. You can attest to the fact that people do not even understand the last motion that Purity requested us to vote for. So I just think that, and it has even already been proposed and seconded. So the motion on the ground is to close the standing orders. So if anybody has anything to say around that, then we move to voting. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I really hope that we are talking about the standing orders and it will be summarized, because we are actually taking more time. So Sam?
Chair, Sam Kefsa. I want to echo the words of Isaac, that indeed we are tired and we're going to make impaired, judgment or decision making. So,
okay. All right. So you're agreeing. You type a thumbs up if you're agreeing to what someone is saying. That is what someone is saying. You type a thumbs up so that I can know how you're feeling.
Okay.
Yes. I need to see your reactions with thumbs up. That is what we agreed. So yes, open for discussion, because we are discussing to suspend. Okay, so I'm assessing the floor, and I think we will have to now move to voting. So all that are against the suspension of standing orders, it means that we continue. All that are against, type against. If you're saying we continue, type against. Sylvester, you replied to me. An observer cannot vote, please. Only full members. If you're against, type against. If you, okay, so 2. If you're against, type against. Aya. If you are for suspending standing orders and we meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT 0, please type 4. Okay, so please help me count this very fast. Okay, so there's some, ZPSA didn't have voting rights, so that is 9-4 and 2 against. So the motion carries. We have suspended the standing orders. We meet here tomorrow to discuss the 2 pending motions. The report, the annual report of the chairperson we are uploading it right now, but the financial report is still not in. So we meet here tomorrow for the last session of array. So, oh yeah, and we also have another issue to discuss. So we have 3 things to discuss. Okay, if I can
Thank you,
just give you a summary
Purity.
so that you go thinking about it. So what happened is I was not aware that DRC Congo actually submitted their bid for AFPS. They submitted it way after the deadline, and when it was uploaded, I was not aware. So it was not added into the system. Neither like did we give them a chance to present it. So if they are willing to bring that up, we will also have to discuss that. Yes, so please think about that. You have 3 decisions to take tomorrow, and we need sober minds. So good night and be prepared to, yeah, so let's end there. So, bye guys, thank you so much.